We've looked at quite a few bits of code now. We've written them, we've run it all on the emulator. Now it's time to start actually putting things on the actual microbits. Here I've got one of the microbit version 2s. This will work just as well with the version 1s, as will pretty much all of the videos we've been through. But you can see we've got our little matrix, our screen of 25 LEDs on the front. We've got our GPIO pins down here on the bottom. One of the tells that this is a version 2 is you can see that they're notched. We've got two physical buttons on here. We've got a capacitive touch sensitive button at the top that's replaced just the printed coloured logo on the version 1. And this can actually register 4 different types of press, something that we're going to explore later on. On the back, we can see all the other things. We've got the processor, we've got the speaker, the compass, we've got the actual USB cable port, power port for the battery, and we've got a reset button, as well as the radio antenna. And on the front, well, it's really small and you can't really see it. There's a tiny dot just here, and that's the microphone. And it can register the sound level, and it can also record sound. We've also got, so we need to connect them to the computer. We've got our micro USB cable here. So we've got the large end that gets plugged into the computer. I'm actually going to plug that in now. So that's plugged in. That goes into one of the USB sockets. And then we've got the micro USB plug here. And this goes into the socket on the top of the microbit. The shapes will match. You can see where it's curved and it's flat. It will only fit in one way. That goes in and that plugs in. We can tell it's in, it's ready, lights on. It's got power, and you can see whatever code was previously on this microbit is running, because we can see a smiley face has appeared. So quite nicely now we know that this microbit works. So now we're going to look at how we set up the actual editor so we can flash our code onto the microbit. So here we are in our editor, and obviously we've got no code on. We'll deal with setting some code up really quickly to check it works after. First thing we need to do is to tell it that a microbit is connected to it. Now, if you've got one of the new version 2s and you've bought it recently, it'll be set up, ready to go. You won't need to do anything. If you've got an old version 1, you might have to update the firmware on that so you can actually connect it in this way, so you can just flash the code straight on without having to download a hex file and drag that on. We'll cover that in another video. There are instructions for that on the internet. Just do a search for updating the firmware on a microbit and you'll get a really nice simple set of instructions. We'll do keep a lookout for a video on how to go through and do all of that. But we've got our version 2 plugged in and connected as we did previously. So now what we're doing is we're going to go through and we're going to tell the editor that the microbit is connected. So first place to go is down at the bottom of the screen here. We've got the download button. We don't want that. We want our additional menu here where we've got 3 dots. So we can click on that and we've got 3 options: connect a device, download as file, and help. So we're going to select connect a device. We get this menu come up. So if you haven't already connected your microbit to the computer, take this opportunity to make sure it's plugged in both to the microbit itself and the other end of the wire into your computer, and click next. You then get a little pop-up that says how to pair it. It says press the pair button below. A window will appear just about here on your screen. You select the microbit device and then click connect. So we're going to click pair. And you can see here now it's on there. We've got Mako wants to connect BBC microbit, so we can select it from there and click connect. And my computer will remember this microbit as well. So if I come back to the editor in a future time and I'm using the same microbit, if I just plug it in, it will automatically connect, which is really great. So connected to microbit, your microbit is connected. Press download, will now automatically copy your code. So I click done. So now it's there. And what we'll do is we'll quickly put a piece of code together and we'll just go through the flashing process. Right, so here we are. We've got our microbit set up. It's connected, which we can see face on, and we can see the download button here. So we're going to really quickly, we're going to create a piece of code that's going to clear the screen and display an image when we press a button. So on start, I'm going to go to basic. I'm going to tell it to clear screen. So that will do that nice and quickly. I'm going to go input on A button pressed. Drag that into the workspace. I'm going to get an icon there. I'm just going to use this little sort of angry face because it looks a little bit like a Space Invader. So that's on that. I'm going to check it works here. It's clear. Press A. It's there. I'm going to reset it to clear the screen. So maybe what I'll do is actually set it so the B button as well, once it's run, will also clear the screen. So there we go. So there's our Really simple piece of code set up. So A does that, B does that. Now, very simply, you see the microbits here. Just going to click the download button. You'll notice if you look at your microbit, the yellow light on the back will be flashing. Obviously, on the screen here, we've got the download bar. Depending on the complexity of your code and everything else that has happened, the download bar can either flash through really quickly or it can take a bit of time. This all really depends on what you've got and what it's got to take off, because it has to write the program. It's got to compile it into that hex format that the microbit can read, and then it's got to write that straight to our device. So it looks like we're almost done. And when it is, we'll be able to see, notice the screen has gone clear on the microbit already, and that's because the program's going on. So we know it's done. So there we go. So it's finished, it's clear, we can check it works. We're going to press A, there's our face that appears, and if we press B, we can turn it off. So if you think about the emotion badge type project, you could set something like that up now. So happy, sad, upset if you press both of them, or you could even use the capacitive button or something button to set up multiple different options. But that's how you flash your code onto a microbit.